In this video lesson, we'll discuss American settlers expanding into Texas and Texas independence. American cotton farmers settled in eastern Texas. And to keep settlement orderly, Mexico gave out something called empresarios, which were land grants to others to encourage them to settle in Texas. Stephen Austin's father received an empresario, but died before dividing his land for settlement. The earliest Spanish settlements were missions and trading posts. Their objective was to convert Native Americans to Catholicism. After Mexico received their independence from Spain, they had outlawed slavery in 1821. Mexico won its independence from Spain in 1821, and an independent Mexico then looked for ways to increase their economy. They eased trade restrictions with the United States, encouraging trade so that they could build their economy, and they encouraged American farmers to settle in Mexico to protect the area from Native American attacks. Mexico encouraged American farmers to settle in Texas to prevent border violations by horse thieves and to protect the territory from Native American attacks. Mexico offered enormous land grants called empresarios to attract American settlers. The empresarios allowed settlers to buy cheap land. And they came by the thousands, pledging to obey Mexican laws. They had agreed that they would not bring slaves into Texas, that they would learn to speak the language, which was Spanish, and that they would convert to Catholicism and become Catholic. American settlers, though, did not observe any of Mexico's requests. Soon the American population surpassed the native Tejano population of Mexico. Presidents John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson both saw this as an increasing issue and offered to buy Texas from Mexico, but Mexico refused to sell Texas and then began to regret encouraging American settlers to settle there at all. American settlers refused to follow any of the rules that Mexicans basically were following in their own country. They did not convert to Catholicism, and most of them were Protestant. Most of them brought slaves with them, which was also illegal in Mexico, and they continued to speak English because there were so many American settlers surrounding them, they didn't need to learn how to speak Spanish. So in 1830, Mexico closed its borders, but lacked the security to enforce it. But the Americans continued to come. By 1836, there were more slaves in Texas than there were Tejanos, the native Mexicans. General Santa Anna took over the Mexican government and declared himself dictator. Fearing Santa Anna would enforce the Mexican laws that the Americans had not been following, the Americans declared independence. Santa Anna marched his army to the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas, destroying the fort and killing all of the Americans inside after a standoff of 13 days. This is a map of all of the skirmishes involved in Texas independence. You can see that the purple shaded area is the Republic of Texas. This area in green is the disputed area. And then you have Texan victories, which are in blue, and then Mexican victories, which are in red. You can see the Alamo here, the Battle of Goliad here, and then finally the Battle of San Jacinto, which is the battle that actually wins Texas its independence. After two Mexican victories at the Alamo and Goliad, American forces, led by a man named Sam Houston, pictured in this picture, defeated Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto. This is a picture of Santa Anna. The Republic of Texas was born, and in 1836, Sam Houston became the first president of the Republic of Texas. Texas had become its own country. The Tejanos, who fought with the Americans against Santa Anna, now faced discrimination by the Americans as a result. Texas did apply to be admitted into the United States, but was denied statehood in 1838 when Sam Houston wanted them to be annexed or incorporated into the United States, because Texas wanted to enter the Union as a slave state, and that would have thrown off the balance between free and slave states. It wasn't until James Polk ran for president in 1844 as an expansionist, someone who wanted to expand the territory of the United States, that Texas is going to join the Union. James Polk wins the presidency in 1844, and this gives him a mandate to admit Texas into the Union. So Texas will actually become a state after being its own country with its own president, Sam Houston, for some time in 1845. Polk's ideas to expand America did not end with Texas. He's going to threaten war with Great Britain over the Oregon Territory, which was a shared and disputed area to this point. And he's also going to instigate a war with Mexico by sending troops into Mexico and hoping to gain the land that Mexico is currently holding as a result. We'll talk more about Texas independence when we complete a scenario in class, and then we'll also look forward to the causes of the war with Mexico.